This wonderful Saturday morning, day by day, day by day. Oh dear Lord, three things I pray: to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day, year by year by year. Oh, dear Lord, three things are clear: I see thee more clearly, I love thee more dearly, I follow thee more nearly, year by year. And oh, in this hour, in this very hour, oh dear Lord, I have the power to see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, in this hour, day by day, day by day. Oh dear Lord, three things I pray: to see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh dear Lord, three things I pray: to see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day by day by day. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day by day by day. To see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day, by day by day, day by day, by day, day by day. Good morning, everybody. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Day by day, we see more clearly. Well, today is the day. So I invite you right now to simply open your hearts, open your minds, take a deep breath, and allow the presence and the power of God once again to be recognized throughout your mind, throughout your heart, throughout your body. So we give thanks for this time together. We feel that presence and power.
I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see love in every face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. All right.
It's a good day to have a good day.
A good day.
Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga's weekly celebration service. My name is Amanda Adamson, and I'm honored to serve as the president of your board of trustees. Today I'm joined by our extraordinarily talented and handsome musician Landis Batts.
All right. Hey.
And our very own Santa doppelganger, the Reverend Doug Werth, though much slimmer and fit. If you're viewing via Facebook today, give us a thumbs up or a comment if you like. We appreciate you being with us. Do we have anyone here that's new for the first time? Well, welcome.
Hello.
We want you to know that you are welcome, accepted, and celebrated here. I saw that our usher just gave you a packet, and if you'd fill out the information on the back and turn it back in, we would appreciate it. Not to weird you out or anything, but something we like to do is to share a blessing with those that are here. So everybody warm up your digits and join me in saying, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Unity honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. We are a progressive and inclusive spiritual community, embracing the traditional ancient wisdom teachings while combining them with the modern scientific and psychological principles for living a meaningful and inspired life. We emphasize prayer and meditation, personal study and growth, and living consciously to make a difference in the world. Today at Unity of Chattanooga, we are officially beginning the celebration of the holiday seasons, including Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, many candles representing the one light. This light is God as Spirit, the loving source of all that is. God is the one power, all good, everywhere present, all wisdom. God is divine energy, continually creating, expressing, and sustaining all creation. In God, we live and move and have our being. In Unity, some other ways we speak of God are life, light, love, substance, principle, law, and universal mind. This time of year offers up an incredible opportunity to share the love in our hearts, a time when we can more powerfully sense the presence of God within and around us. I challenge you to ask yourself, how can I extend the love and light in my heart more fully this holiday season and into the new year? Well, we can begin right now by smiling as we greet our friends here today. So if you feel comfortable, please stand up and acknowledge the divine within each other with a handshake, a smile, or a hug. Namaste.
What's up? Hi. united in God as we celebrate an awakened world of abundance, compassion, and joy. Prosperous and inspiring, empowering in service and love, seeking to live our values each day as we celebrate an awakened world of abundance, compassion, and joy. Hey, Sheila. Centered and united in God as we celebrate an awakened world of abundance, compassion, and joy. We're prosperous and inspiring, empowering in service and love, seeking to live our values each day as we celebrate an awakened world of abundance, compassion, and joy. Of abundance, compassion, and joy. Of compassion, abundance, and love. Of abundance, compassion, and joy. Seeking to live our values each day as we celebrate an awakened world of abundance, compassion, and joy. Of abundance, compassion, and joy. Of abundance, compassion, and joy. Frosted window panes, candles gleaming inside, painted candy canes on the tree. Love is on its way, ever here to stay, with things for you and for me. It's that time of year when the world falls in love. Every song, yeah, seems to say, Merry Christmas. May your New Year dreams come true. And this song of mine in 3/4 time wishes you and yours the same thing too. Yes, that time of year When this world falls in love, every song you hear seems to say, Merry Christmas, may your New Year dreams come true. And this song of mine in three-quarter time wishes you and yours the same thing too. Happy holidays to you. There it is.
What a perfect introduction.
All righty. Well, speaking of introductions, thank you for the lyrics to Day by Day, Penny. Thank you very much. All right. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, Christmas is almost here. It's dark and chilly at 6 o'clock at night. Yes. We see the colored lights decorating the houses and trees in the front yard, the blow-up Santa Clauses, and the occasional nativity scene as we pass by. Maybe we've put up the tree in our living room, or maybe it's still making the way to the top of our to-do list. Christmas cards are starting to show up, and the little ones are all excited about Santa. There's the hustle and bustle and secrets of presents, and the inner glow of transformation as we hear Christmas carols. There's the anticipation of seeing the joy on happy faces as gifts are opened on that special morning yet to come. It's a magic time of the year. And it's all around this country and throughout many other countries. People's thoughts and feelings are turning to a time of giving and good wishes to others. And it's transformation. You know, when I was growing up, maybe 4 or 5, and my brother was 3 or 4, it was a magical time. As Christmas approached, there was talk about Santa. There was the letter to Santa that was always written. The TV shows on the 24-inch black and white TV, if the rabbit ears were in the right direction. But in our house, no tree or no presents, just the anticipation, the reassurance from Mom and Dad that on Christmas Eve Santa would come, if we'd been good, and transform everything. And he did. When my brother and I got up on Christmas morning, we were under strict orders to wake up Mom and Dad first, because it's so hard. I mean, you know, grown-ups will sleep in whenever they can, right? And we all walked into the living room together, and Santa had been there. There was the tree with the bulbs and the lights and the tinsels and the toys and the presents and teddy bears. And I'm talking big teddy bears, the kind that you win at the carnival if you're a really good shot, those kinds of teddy bears. We could play with the toys, but we couldn't open the presents until Grandma and Grandpa had arrived. And that was okay, because we kind of knew that the presents were closed, you know. Well, as we got older, we helped Santa by going out and getting the tree and putting up a few weeks ahead of time so he didn't have so much work to do on just that one night, eat all the cookies, that sort of thing. And we kind of began to get the idea. It was great because presents would start to show up ahead of time too. And my brother always counted them. And he always knew which ones were for who, especially which ones were his. And if the one in the attic behind the trunk didn't happen to show up because maybe Santa missed it, well, he would make sure Mom and Dad would go get it. But one thing never changed. We always knew that Santa would come on Christmas Eve and bring so much more. And he always did. Now, I've shared with you on several occasions that my early years were not what you would call affluent. We didn't have a lot in the way of the better material things in life, and I learned much later that my parents apparently didn't have any medical insurance when my younger brother needed an operation to save his life. And I've often wondered how Santa did it in those early years and few hours in the night. But today I know it was the miracle of hope and faith and love in my mom and dad that made it all possible. And that transformation that occurred on Christmas morning for me laid the groundwork for a lifelong belief in miracles. Miracles are those good things that happen if you have faith and love in your heart and do the best that you can. I think it solidified a feeling of hope in me. I mean, after all, it was a feeling of hope that surged through you as a kid for weeks before Christmas. And that hope merged with faith because you absolutely knew that something great was going to happen. You'd seen it happen before. You didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but you knew it was going to be great. From the scriptures we read, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Well, at that time in my life, I learned in Sunday school about Christmas being the day that Jesus was born and how wise kings from the east brought gifts to honor him. And I made the connection that was what Christmas was all about, giving gifts to honor the greatness and the goodness in others. But they weren't just mere kings. They were magi, men who knew the inner worlds and workings of things, good men with insight and understanding, men who were being guided to be at the right place at the right time, to know and to honor the workings of heavenly things. Just like Mary and Joseph and the shepherds in the fields were guided, talking with angels, all working for good. That must be how Santa was guided every Christmas Eve, and how he managed to get it all done. I didn't know why Santa was sometimes called Saint Nick or how he was connected to Jesus' birth. That was a mystery. But it was all connected somehow in this special time of the year when God and the angels are especially close. The mystery of it all when you're 4 or 5. It was a time of innocence, of simple stories and traditions that pointed the way to something greater, opening those emotional doors of kindness, of greater loving beings, and a greater source of abundance. Gifts not necessarily under the tree. Stories and traditions, at least in my family and in the small town that I grew up in, that everybody shared. And ever so slowly, Christmas transformed from what I was going to get to what I was going to give. From these simple stories filled with magic and blind faith to an understanding faith. From the assurance of things hoped for to the conviction of things not seen. Knowing what was mine to do to bring it forth. When Penny and I relocated to California in the early 80s, we became involved in a local newcomers club. And when Christmas came, well, Penny talked me into playing Santa for the kids. And with our daughter Christine being about 4, we didn't think she'd catch on. Well, when she sat in Santa's lap, there was this questioning look, a little bit of wonder, and a wee bit of recognition, even under the big white beard. Well, later in the back of the room with her little friends, she pointed proudly up front and said, "That's my daddy!" Well, Penny was quick to the rescue, and as the party ended, she took an unusually longer route home in order to drop off something special to a friend. And so when Penny and Christine walked into the house, I was busy putting up the tree and looked at them both and said, "Hey, how did the visit to Santa go?" That was close. Well, the next year, we knew we had to find another angle and conspired with the neighbors for help. And so one night, about 2 weeks before Christmas, we were sitting down to dinner when the doorbell rang. Well, you know what little kids will do. Quick as a flash, they're up from the table and they're opening the front door. And there was a large box on the doorstep with an envelope on top, but nobody in sight. We were all puzzled. Where'd this come from? Especially Christine. So we brought the box in and I told her to open the envelope and read it. And she opened the envelope and it said, "Dear Doug, I can't make it to the newcomers' kids' party this Saturday. Some last minute emergencies. Will you help me out again? Signed, Santa." And inside the box was a full Santa suit, complete with beard and boots. And Christine's eyes were as big as owls. You could almost feel the wheels turning, My dad drove Santa? Wow, how cool is that? But you could see some questions beginning to form. Now, in those days, Christine knew that I went whitewater kayaking on the weekends during the summer. So I told her that I'd met Santa a couple of times on one of the rivers up north, which was his off-season. And we'd run a couple rivers together, and we were friends, so I was glad to help. And you could see it in her eyes, Okay, that answers that, But Christine, you've got to keep the secret. Can you do that? If not, I'll have to find somebody else to be Santa because we don't want to spoil it for the other kids. Well, Christine swore to secrecy. And that Saturday helped out giving gifts to the other kids with the biggest heart and the biggest smile that I'd ever seen. And we have pictures of her that Christmas wearing the Santa hat and the coat in the big rocking chair by our tree. Priceless. I'm not sure when she finally put the actual pieces together, but it was a beautiful time when simpler stories for younger minds helped create a spirit of giving, a spirit of kindness and joy, and the magic of Christmas that comes from heart-filled faith and love. The stories and feelings Penny and I had both experienced in our younger days and passed on with that same faith and that same love. You see, Christmas is about the hope of a better life, not only for ourselves and our families, but for our neighbors, however you define your neighbor. It's that special time of the year to practice traditions of giving, celebrate our beliefs in a greater good, and through faith, see the best in others, regardless of their station in life, political views, nationality, all of that. It's about family, honoring and demonstrating the best in our nature and in our culture, and passing these values on to others and the next generation. Making a better world for ourselves today and for the generations to come. and hopefully planting those seeds as a way of life regardless of the season. It's simple stories, time-honored traditions that have evolved over the centuries as a way for us to remember and practice the spiritual values and way of life demonstrated 2 millennia ago by the highest consciousness teacher to ever walk the planet. The Christmas story of Jesus' birth is, at least for me, the greatest story ever told about all of these things. It mixes the hopes and faith of an entire people with divine guidance, with miracles and humble everyday surroundings, things we can all relate to. It's the beginning of the greatest life ever lived, a man who came to show us these values in everyday life, how to do it, how to walk that talk. And it's been the inspiration for countless generations throughout the world. As we hear the stories told again at this time of year, it rekindles the feelings that God is working through each one of us to create a better world. In our unity tradition, we celebrate the birth of the Christ within each one of us. And through Jesus' example, know that as we allow ourselves to experience that Christ presence, we are transformed through love to a greater experience of God moving in us and through us as us. When I went to ministerial school, I was so excited about learning even greater spiritual truths through more in-depth study and scholarship that I was sure would be provided as part of the experience. Well, there's an old saying, and that saying is, be careful what you ask for. And I think perhaps Rumi said it best, when you eventually see through the veils of how things really are, you will keep saying again and again, this is certainly not like we thought it was. I was shocked to learn that December 25th was not Jesus' real date of birth. I guess like most of us, for most of my life, I didn't dig too deeply into Bible research. I just believed the stories I was told in church and reiterated in our culture. Well, today we know that the actual birthday of Jesus is lost to antiquity. Nobody really knows when Jesus' birth was. The date is not mentioned or even referenced in the Bible. And the earliest writings of Paul in the New Testament and the later Gospels of Mark and John don't even have a birth story. The birth story is only in Matthew and in Luke, with very different versions, each written to a different audience for different reasons. Today, Bible scholars have placed the date in every month of the year. My best guess is that it was in the spring, based upon the story in Luke about the shepherds guarding their flocks at night, because that's when the lambs are born. And the shepherds must be careful that the predators don't take the newborns. And it's the only time during the year that they're out there at night. So that makes sense to me. So how did we come to celebrate Jesus' birth and the holiday of Christmas on December 25th? Well, historically, it seems that shortly after the persecution of the Christians ended in the 4th century, Constantine, Council of Nicaea, the church was growing slowly, but really struggling to get the message of Jesus' ministry out to the public at large, which was primarily pagan. Most people and the cultures of the time followed the natural movement of the earth and stars and had an assortment of gods controlling all the events. The Romans celebrated Saturnalia, a festival dedicated to Saturn, the god of peace and plenty. The Babylonians and Egyptians had similar festivals all around the winter solstice in late December. It was a time when the sun went from decreasing to increasing, and was widely celebrated as a time of rebirth of the sun god. So Pope Julius I chose December 25th for a special service celebrating Jesus' birth as a way of adopting and absorbing the commonly practiced winter solstice pagan traditions that were practiced at the time. And so in the Catholic tradition, he created a special Christ Mass filled with pomp and ceremony, and hoped that if they mixed the Christian beliefs with the popular pagan holidays, the Christian message would be embraced and celebrated. It was genius marketing, folks. And the church's Christ Mass on December 21st, celebrating the birth of Jesus, became the Christmas that we know today. But they also wanted to teach the lessons that Jesus had taught about how to lead a better life. They created the Advent season, the first 4 Sundays before Christmas, as a special preparation for the experience of Christ's birth. It's a way to bring attention to the qualities of being that naturally bring forth the Christ presence in each one of us, feelings of peacefulness and a knowing that all is truly well. The word Advent comes from the Latin adventus, which means coming or arrival. It's a celebration of the past and the hope of the future. The Advent wreath, which you see down here in front of us, and candles, are a symbol and representation of the season and the spiritual truths that it teaches. The wreath of evergreen boughs symbolizes completion, wholeness, and everlasting life, and was commonly used throughout Northern Europe during the winter solstice pagan traditions, representing hope of spring. It was green, even in the midst of the darkest and coldest time of the year. The candles were a church creation, representing the main aspects of the spiritual journey. The 3 purple candles represent the qualities of royalty, the kingdom of God. The first candle is hope and faith. The second is peace, and the third is love. The qualities of being that we must experience and bring together in our life, usually in that order, before we can experience true joy, symbolized by the 4th rose candle, the candle of the heart energy. And it's from joy that the Christ comes forth, symbolized by the white candle located in the center of the wreath, surrounded by wholeness, completion, and everlasting life. All these stories, told in their own way and in their own tradition, tell of a greater love, a greater way of being, and offer each one of us a way to experience that love and bring it forth through us and as us. It's the path of transformation, told in the ministry of Jesus, kept alive in the ceremonies of the church, and practiced today with Santa and the Christmas season. Today, we know that within each one of us is the light of the Christ life, and we are meant to bring that light into the world through us and as us. The traditions and symbols of Christmas are important, but as I think back over my Christmases, it's the feelings that I remember and the heart openings that I recall. It's the special way that I experience the mix and mystery of inspiration and truth, seeing and hearing it demonstrated, that encouraged me to go forth and to do the same. I'd like to end this morning with a poem that describes this whole process as well as any I've ever heard. It's called The Best Gift. On Christmas Eve, a young boy with light in his eyes looked deep into Santa's, to Santa's surprise, and said as he sat on Santa's broad knee, "I want your secret, tell it to me." He leaned up and whispered in Santa's good ear, "How do you do it, year after year? I want to know how, as you travel about, giving gifts here and there, you never run out. How is it, dear Santa, that in your pack of toys you have plenty for all the world's girls and boys? How is it that sack on the back of your sleigh is full, never empty, as you make your way from rooftop to rooftop, to homes large and small, from nation to nation, reaching them all?" And Santa smiled kindly and said to the boy, "Don't ask me hard questions. Don't you want a toy?" But the child shook his head, and Santa could see that he needed the answer. "Now listen to me," he told the small boy with a light in his eyes. My secret will make you sadder and wise. The truth is that my sack is magic inside. It holds millions of toys for my Christmas Eve ride. But though I do visit each girl and each boy, I don't always leave them a gaily wrapped toy. Some homes are hungry. Some homes are sad. Some homes are desperate. Some homes are bad. Some homes are broken and children there grieve. Those homes I visit, but what should I leave? My sleigh is filled with the happiest stuff, but for homes where despair lives, toys aren't enough. So I tiptoe in, kiss each girl and boy, and pray with them that they'll be given the joy of the spirit of Christmas, the spirit that lives in the heart of each dear child who gets not, but gives. If only God hears me and answers my prayer, when I visit next year, what I will find there are homes filled with peace and with giving and love, and boys and girls gifted with light from above. It's a very hard task, my dear little brother, to give toys to some and give prayers to others. But the prayers are the best gifts indeed, for God has his own way of meeting each need. That's part of the answer. The rest, my dear youth, is that my sack is magic, and that is the truth. In my sack I carry on Christmas Eve day more love than a Santa could ever give away. The sack never empties of love or of joys, because inside it are prayers of hope, not just toys. The more that I give, the fuller it seems, because giving is my way of fulfilling dreams. And do you know something? You've got a sack too. It's as magic as mine, and it's inside of you. It never gets empty. It's full from the start. It's the center of light and love. It's your heart. And if on this Christmas you want to help me, don't be so concerned about gifts under the tree. Open that sack called your heart and share your joy, your friendship, your wealth, your care. The light in the small boy's eyes was glowing. "Thanks for your secret. I must be going." "Wait, little boy," said Santa. "Don't go. Will you share? Will you help? Will you use what you know?" And just for a moment, the small boy stood still, touched his heart with his small hand, and whispered, "I will." So let's take a minute. Let all this settle. It's Christmas time. We feel the joy welling up in our hearts. We see the Christmas cards from friends and relatives that perhaps we haven't spoken to in months. And we remember those times. We remember their smiles. It's time for family. It's time for friends. And as we see people throughout this country, throughout this town, throughout our neighborhood, putting a light in their window, a blow-up Santa in their front yard, we know that the spirit of Christmas, of universal love, of guidance, of miracles, of divine help from unseen hands. It's all close at hand. We simply have to be transformed. And it's ours to do. It's ours to do with joy, with gladness, with a warmth that fills our being from head to toe. So let us take a moment right now, together in the silence for just a few moments, and feel that love, feel that guidance, feel the healing power that God so generously gives if we simply open the door. Let us open that door right now for just a few moments. God is here. Santa is just around the corner. Christmas is upon us. Time of love, forgiving, and knowing deep in our hearts what is ours to do, and that all is truly well. Thank you, God.
If you have some questions in the corners of your mind, traces of discouragement or peace you cannot find, reflections of the past seem to face you every day. But there's one thing I know for sure, that love is the way. Love is the answer for this world today. Above it there's no other. Love is the way. Love is the answer for the world today. Above it there's no other. Love is the way. Love is the way. Love is the way.
Love is the way. A perfect ending.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Maestro Landis. Well, now is the time in our service when we open our hearts and we open our wallets. It's an opportunity to give where we've been spiritually fed. It's an opportunity to support this church, to support this ministry, and through us, through our gracious giving, to change not only our lives, but to change the world. So join me in our offering statements. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance.
Love is the answer for the world today. Above it, there's no other. Love is the way. Love is the answer for the world today. Above it, there's no other. Love is the way. Love is the way. Love is the way.
Love is the way. And this love flows through us as we open our hearts. It simply goes forth to change our lives, to change the lives in our families and friends, to change the lives of the world. And so we give thanks this very moment, right here and right now, for the abundance that has flowed through each and every heart, filled with giving and filled with abundance. For this, we are so grateful. Thank you, God. Bless you.
Hello again.
Hello.
A few announcements, and we're delighted that we're able to have more offerings here because of this facility. And so please, if you can, join us as we get this momentum going by offering a few different classes and events. It's been a long time coming. Okay, so this Tuesday evening, December 12th at 6:30, I invite all of you to attend our Conscious Expanding Metaphysical Discussion Group in the classroom downstairs. The topic this month is, what is God? Please join us for lively discussion as we explore the vast non-physical world in which we live. This is for fun and for free, to help us gain clarity and freedom from our old superstitions and the shackles that bind us to limited beliefs that no longer serve us or the world, and to focus on the truth of our being. And the first class went well, I thought. We enjoyed it. We tackled things like, what is truth? Chit-chat, really. Easy stuff. So on Wednesday, December 20th, also at 6:30 p.m., we will have a special evening of cookies. There'll be one kind of cocoa probably, not an assortment. Cider and Christmas fun in the Unitarian Fellowship area right out here. We will have a white elephant gift exchange for anyone who wants to participate. It will be a great opportunity to enjoy a little holiday magic with your Unity family, a great way to recycle an item you no longer want or somebody gave you and you're like, just wrap it up and give it as a white elephant gift. One man's trash and all of that.
Exactly.
A good time will be had by all.
Yeah.
On December 21st, the Unitarian Church will be setting up a candlelit labyrinth in this sanctuary area between 5 and 8 p.m. They have invited anyone from our church who would like to come and walk the labyrinth. It's a wonderful way to quiet the mind, calm any anxieties, find your balance in life, and encourage insight and self-reflection. As Doug mentioned earlier, this is to mark the winter solstice, which is when we have the shortest day and the longest night of the year in terms of daylight. You are all invited to join us on New Year's Eve for the Unity of Chattanooga's New Year's Eve extravaganza, Sunday, December 31st. We will ring in 2024 promptly at 10 p.m. along with Western Brazil.
That's funny.
I have sent out emails to everyone who is on our contact list. Please RSVP by email either way. If you haven't received an Evite and would like to attend, please see me after the service. There will be delicious foods, drinks, music, and prizes. What better way to, oh, and Gloria will probably dance, so. What better way than to celebrate with other precious unitics to start up the new year with love and laughter. Next, I want to invite Phaedra Roberts to come up and tell you about spirit groups and sign-up opportunities.
Who that maybe is? Who is that?
Thank you, Amanda. So today I'm here to say a little bit about why you should join a spirit group. And I want you to bear with me for just a second. This year, Dr. Vivek Murthy, the U.S. Surgeon General, released a comprehensive report on an epidemic sweeping across our nation. This epidemic cuts across all sectors in our country: socioeconomic, racial, gender, age, all categories. This particular epidemic has the mortality impact similar to that caused by smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. And the cause of this epidemic is social disconnection. And it's a danger to us as individuals and as a society. The cure, Dr. Murthy says, is strengthening our connections and relationships. He goes on to say that our individual relationships are an untapped resource, a source of healing that is hidden in plain sight. Each of us can start now in our own lives, in our social groups, by strengthening our connections and relationships. Well, if you were here, or if you watched the video recording online of the November 11th service, you heard a powerful presentation from all the participants from the fall spirit groups as they shared about their journey together in the small group program that focuses on connection, compassion, community, challenge, and communion with God through prayer and meditation. I hope you will consider joining a spirit group, or even better, become a facilitator or a host for a spirit group, so we can provide more opportunities to experience this practice of deep connection with like-minded people on a similar spiritual path. In spirit groups, you will find a place to express yourself authentically and be accepted as you are. Listen and be heard without judgment. Perform an act of community service. Experience compassionate support. Deepen your practice of prayer, meditation, and reflection. Be that source of healing that's hidden in plain sight. See your connection to source energy and each other spread throughout our community like ripples on a pond, and help us carry out Unity of Chattanooga's mission, which is to create connection and community and to be an engaging center for education, prayer, and compassionate support. There's more information about Unity of Chattanooga's Spirit Group program and the program that's being offered thus far for the winter series on the flyer that you received as you came in today. My contact information is on that flyer, and you can reach me if you need more information, or hopefully you're considering that you will become a host or a facilitator for an extra spirit group this winter. There's a sign-up sheet outside to sign up for the winter group series for the winter, and I'll be there to answer any questions that you may have. And I really hope you will consider becoming a host or a facilitator so we can add more groups. Thank you for your attention.
And thank you, Phaedra, for your love, your dedication, and your time in making sure this is ongoing. You've lit a spark in a lot of people. We appreciate you. Now, would you join me in singing the peace song?
Well, let me ask you this. Has John worked the sound before?
Have you, John?
No.
Well, thank you, John, very much.
Woo!
Yeah. All right.
Great job, John.
I'll be Linda.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, in oneness all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy and smile. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And just remember, as you go forward this week, Santa is coming.